What's going on, New York Giants fans? AGP back again. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. As usual, like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you to the guys and girls who joined yesterday's live stream. The Boys in the Big Apple podcast, of course. Joel Yaddo, Evan Spitzberg, Potato, Jagger, all those other guys. Thank you guys for once again coming back to the channel and supporting us like usual. So, let's get into Giants free agency. I'm going to be working myself backwards, to be honest, because obviously the big talk yesterday was starting with Kenny Golladay, then it was Austin Johnson, then it was Devonta Booker, then it was Dalvin Tomlinson. Now I'm going to work my way backwards. So Dalvin Tomlinson, the Giants let him go. He walked in free agency, $22 million over 2 years with the Minnesota Vikings, $20 million guaranteed, I think, in the first year or something like that. Obviously, Ian Rappaport has the contract details. So, first thoughts. Tomlinson was a role player on this defense. He was interior playmaker and really did the dirty work on this defensive line. So I'm going to miss him. I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to shade any sort of feelings that I have for him. I miss him. I miss him already. But unfortunately, it is a business, and that's why you can't get attached to players. In a way, I do wish the Giants would have gotten something for him, but we'll see what happens at the end of free agency. If they don't sign Golladay or Samuel or Smith-Schuster, they would probably get a comp pick in exchange for letting him go. So I think that's how the Giants are trying to play this out, maybe. But there were rumors, of course, that every time after somebody gets released that they were trying to trade somebody or this person and that person at the trade deadline, and the fans go out there and attack it. So the rumor was, and it still is out, that the Giants declined a trade offer from the Green Bay Packers for a 4th and a 5th round pick in exchange for Tomlinson, because obviously the run defense isn't the greatest. And Tomlinson, what does he excel at? Run defense. And, being on the interior of the defensive line and doing the dirty work. So with that, Justin Panic of Talking Giants made a comment on Twitter. He said, we would have seen more of Leonard Williams without Dalvin Tomlinson, what his production actually would have looked like. We would have seen Austin Johnson play a bigger role and see if he was worth resigning. We would have seen R.J. McIntosh and B.J. Hill in a bigger role. I get that. Trust me. It's not stuff that we just don't think about. But at the same time, we're only bringing this up because obviously the rumors came out. If we hadn't known the rumors, none of this stuff would have come out and whatever. And I'm not sitting here trying to defend Gettleman or trying to defend the front office for not making the move. But at the same time, had we made that move, the fan base would have reacted so differently. It would have been funny. I mean, just look at the reaction when we traded Snacks Harrison. Everybody was in a fit because we gave him up for only a 5th. Meanwhile, it was a salary dump. So that's kind of the point I'm trying to make on there. No discredit to Justin, obviously. He's been on this channel for the podcast episode a couple of months ago. But I'm just trying to make a point there. And it's a very valuable point that at least I'm trying to make. So Austin Johnson and B.J. Hill and R.J. McIntosh, let me make the points about them. The Giants obviously let Tomlinson go, and they do have keys to replace him. Austin Johnson, B.J. Hill, and R.J. McIntosh. And there's also, possibly speculation that the Giants will go defensive tackle some point in the draft this year. They have assets to replace him. I mean, Tomlinson was a role player on this defense, but the thing is that he's replaceable. He is replaceable. His production, maybe not, but if you rotate how many players in there and you make it work with Patrick Graham, it's going to work. Trust me. I have faith in that, and a lot of Giants fans really don't. But in terms of B.J. Hill, Austin Johnson, and R.J. McIntosh, they have the assets to replace him. Switch Dexter to nose tackle, see what happens. And, obviously, there's overreaction all over the fan base. And let me point something out. And I'm not trying to, personally attack him, but I'm bringing up an example. Because I was in a group chat yesterday with my Uncut Sports writers, and Jordan's like, Jordan, he's been on the podcast multiple times, and Jordan basically was like, watch Gettleman take Christian Barmore at 11. First of all, I think the Giants are very smart not to do that. Not that Barmore isn't a good draft pick, but at the same time, I think they know that he's not worth the value at 11, and they have playmakers to assess, whether it be in free agency or the draft. So he's not going defensive tackle if he knows, A, we need playmakers, maybe a second corner if we don't get one in free agency. And obviously he could draft one in the later rounds, someone like Ali McNeil or some of the other guys in the later rounds. So please, and as I said, with this stuff, I don't personally call out anybody. I just think it's fucking stupid that people actually come out with these comments. And it's part of being an irrational fan because obviously knowing this stuff, and it's kind of the reaction thing. Because when Giants fans were talking about Nate Solder and they were talking about the speculation of him coming back and maybe getting restructured, Giants fans were ecstatic then. And they didn't really, put out the big the big rage on stuff like that. And then when he finally gets restructured, a lot of Giants fans are like, oh, why did we keep him? But we cut Kevin Zeitler. So I'm just kind of, trying to put the point is it's kind of a last-minute reaction. We knew this was going to happen. We had some insight this was going to happen, and now it happened, and now the Giants fan base is up in flames. So that's the point I'm trying to make. I'm not defending the move by any means, but I'm just trying to make that I'm more rational than some people out there. Again, I'm not personally calling out Jordan or anybody else. He's my friend. I work with him at Uncut, but that's just an irrational comment, in my opinion at least. So, Devonta Booker, the second signing that the Giants made, the first that was out of house. And he got signed to a 2-year, $6 million deal, and he's from the Oakland Raiders / the Las Vegas Raiders, because I think he was with them for 2 years or a year, if I'm not mistaken, and he was also with the Denver Broncos. He was picked by them in 2016. I don't think this is a bad signing. You can make the case, he's not worth $3 million a year, but the fact that people are saying that this is a bad signing is really bullshit, in my opinion, because the perfect balance, especially when you have a running back coming off an ACL injury, is a drafted running back / an undrafted running back. You could also have a veteran running back like Devonta Booker, and then Saquon Barkley. If Saquon Barkley needs to rest some snaps, you put Devonta Booker in. And the problem is that a lot of people are not getting the balance thing. A lot of people aren't. These beat writers, they're coming out and saying, the Giants should have taken somebody in the 6th round. Really? Because what if their flaw is pass protection? What if their flaw is they can't protect the quarterback on 3rd down? What if the flaw is that? Then the Giants are truly fucked. So please, let's just think this out a little more. And what can Devonta Booker do? He can pass protect, and he can catch out of the backfield. He can also run and take the load off the number 1 running back. So please, you guys can have your opinions, but don't be going to the beat writers and reading their stupid articles. Because I've seen about 3 different articles from Zach Rosenblatt already basically saying, Devonta Booker was a bad signing by the Giants. And I also saw one from Giants Wire saying, PFF graded the signing of Devonta Booker as below average. Does anybody give a fuck what they think? I mean, they're not the one paying tickets and, paying for shit that we do. They're not fans. We are. We are fans. Though we're irrational sometimes, though there are some fans that are actually rational, we're the ones who pay. They're the ones who make money off of us. So please, just stop talking, PFF. And anyone who actually just references that. I mean, honestly, it's a backup fucking running back. You're not signing a mid-tier or friggin' above-average wide receiver. So enough already. Stop bringing up PFF. You're just trying to make references to support your own fucking narrative. Just stop. And it's not like I don't support drafting a running back. I am fully for it. I do it, spoiler alert, in my ideal offseason. I'm dead serious. You guys can look at that later on when it comes out. It's the next podcast episode that comes out a little later on. But just saying that signing a backup running back, and as I said, put away the price tag. Just signing a backup running back is stupid. Saquon Barkley going to take 80% of the snaps. Really? Coming off an ACL injury? The Giants are really going to do that? Come on. Stop being stupid. Because you need somebody to go in there and pass protect, and we know Saquon Barkley can't do it. Anyway, next subject. And also, one thing to point out, be patient a little bit. I mean, honestly, I do want them to get the train started on this. Restructure Martinez, restructure Bradbury, and have Solder's numbers come out already. Because honestly, I'm trying to stay patient, but at the same time, it's free agency, and you have to prep for draft picks and see, what is left in free agency. Because I would like them to get a receiver or something in free agency other than just a backup running back and a defensive tackle. But with Kenny Golladay, a lot of people are saying Golladay or bust. I don't believe that, in one sense. Curtis Samuel, as of right now, is not signed. If he is by the time this comes out, then oh well. Then it's probably Golladay or bust in terms of free agency. If it's Golladay, Samuel, or bust, I'll take that. Because I'm not signing Juju, in my opinion, and I don't think the Giants should sign Juju because of all his TikTok clowniness, for lack of better words. There aren't necessarily great receivers out there in terms of, mocking the production of Curtis Samuel and Kenny Golladay. So I say, let's go in the draft and double dip Jalen Waddle and Tamori Terry. Some kind of mixture like that. Double dip, whether it's the 1st round and the 3rd round, 1st round and the 4th, who cares? Double dip. If you don't get Golladay, if you don't get Samuel. And then some of these beat reporters and some of these content creators, this is something I really disagree with because I don't really find the sense in it, are coming out and saying, if they don't get Golladay or Samuel, they should just go out and get a mid-tier receiver. Really? In my opinion, I don't believe that. And everything on here is my opinion plus the facts, obviously, guys. That's what you get on here. This is not some clickbait bullshit that you get it from other channels, please. But anyway, mid-tier receivers. Brashad Perriman was one of the options that was brought to my attention. I know Talking Giants was trying to do some review on him. To be honest, I'm not sold on him because, he's basically, in my opinion, another toss around from the Cleveland Browns. They drafted him. It was a failure. Went to the Ravens, I think. Went to the Buccaneers. He's been all over the place. So why would we pick him up and make him a essential role and put him in an essential role in our offense? It just doesn't make a lot of sense. And then John Brown, which is, I would say, more reasonable. I just wouldn't do that at the same time because, again, that's going to be our playmaker, really? Instead of a Jalen Waddle, instead of, just another guy like Devonta Smith, another guy like Rashad Bateman. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. And I'm not ruling out the possibility of double dipping between, getting a mid-tier receiver like John Brown and then getting a wide receiver in the draft, round 1 or something like that. But you'd essentially be leaving out one of the receivers from last year, Dante Pettis. I mean, I'm not that concerned with him, to be honest, because he was brought in late in the season, and he did do some, magic for the Giants late in the season. But also Darius Slayton. Do we just forget about him just because he had one down year? Does that mean we have to forget about him all of a sudden? No, it doesn't, in my opinion. So that's just basically my thoughts on the first day of free agency. This took a while to take because obviously, I don't have the green screen now. I had a couple interruptions upstairs. The green screen's not working, as I just mentioned. And obviously, the mic has been, faltering out, in and out, in and out. But anyway, thank you guys for supporting the channel. If you like what I'm saying, if you don't like what I'm saying, anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Keep notifications on so when I post a video, you can be a part of the conversation. Also, podcasts can be found on Spotify, Podbean, all those platforms. Every Monday is the Boys in Big Apple podcast. You get to go on live with me, if you choose so. Live with me, Sean and Luca, discussing all types of sports. Free agency will still be a topic next Monday. We'll probably have a guest as well. Thank you guys, and we'll see you on Friday.